All right, what's happening, yo? This is yours truly. This is the True to Form Funk Prophet, Funk Jam Artist, the Rex, coming at you full power and exact with the James Brown payback. Welcome to the Funk Lounge Talk Theater, the first show of its kind here in this year of 2024, man. This is a very deep time in culture and music and everything. I want to say this from the beginning of the get. Music is a food. Music is a culture. Music is a way of life. Music is church. Music is spirit. Music is music. Music is life, man. Music is really, really deep, and you have to be very careful how you digest or soak up the music. Oh man, coming up, being born in 1962, 62 is a very deep time, man, because you come into the concept of the Beatles, Sly and the Family Stone, James Brown, Wilson Pickett. And then you got, man, then it gets deep. Then you got Jimmy Castor with Hey Leroy. You know, you have different elements of music. And then you have, coming from New York and New Jersey, you have the Latino Spanish like Joe Cuba and the Sextets. People don't realize black people, Jamaicans in New York have a very, very, very taste. New York and Jersey, man, to be a youth, to be African American, indigenous, black, Negro, whatever you want to call us this year, to be a person of color, to come up with the music that we had, man. Even in the South, the Carolinas, Georgia was deep. You know what's so deep about the South? They got the music sometime before the North did, because at the one-stop record shops, they would drop off the funk in the South first before it came to New York. Because I know when I used to visit my grandma, Big Mama, man, I would hear songs that, like Guitar Watson, I Didn't Want to Be the Long Ranger. I would hear that down south before I went back to Mount Vernon back in the day. But it feels so good, man, to have a brother, man, who shares this common knowledge. I'm talking about Mr. Doug Ramsey. Mr. Doug Ramsey, how are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. Thank you for having me on the show. I definitely appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Doug, let me ask you a question, my brother. How did we meet?
We actually met in the Slave Aura Civil Attack
Mm,
Steve Arrington group on Facebook. We were just commenting on the love of these particular four artists, and I began to see that you have a deep-rooted love in the origins of all this music, this cradle, this bed of what we call funk,
mm.
and all its influences. That's how we met.
Brother, and ditto. When I talked to Lamar Webster a couple of
Right.
weeks ago, he said the same thing. See, it's amazing that when you don't know, let me tell you the power of music. You may not know a person, but the common ground, there's your church. Meeting this,
Absolutely.
right, Doug? Meeting this guy's church for me, man, because we got, that's why he's on the show. I mean, I don't know this brother, but we know each other through the music. I mean, he's born in 62, and that's what this show was about. It's for us. It's for us seniors, man. I ain't talking about 55. I'm talking about 62 years old, man. And you
Yes, sir.
and Doug, you a birthday gift for me. My birthday's tomorrow, February 24th.
Oh, all right, man.
I'm
Happy
going to
birthday
be
to you.
62 years old, so you and Lamar are my birthday gifts this year, my
Come
brother.
on, man. Come on, come on. I like that, man. Happy
Oh, man.
birthday to you.
Yeah, thank you, brothers. And so, but I like what you said when you said deep rooted. Hey, man, that slave page is something else, ain't it, Doug? It's very unique, isn't it?
Oh, no question about it, man. We're about
Mm,
on that page. We're about close to 13,000, and you see the comments of people on there.
mm,
People who have grown up with these cats, man, in Dayton, and they have a deep-rooted love for them as well. But
mm,
around the time that they were at their heights, the kind of
mm.
music that they spread and the love and the generation of the fans
Go ahead.
that they've created through their music.
Mm. And Doug, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, man? You have a fantastic bio. East Orange, New Jersey. Give us your whole makeup and why are you the way you are?
I grew up in East Orange, New Jersey, in the suburbs. Born in Newark, New Jersey, at Beth Israel. My mom was a nurse. My dad worked in the pharmaceutical industry. He worked actually night shifts and day shifts. And just like you, most likely, and a lot of people our age, I grew up with music in the house. You know, it was all 45s. It was '78s, it was 33
Go ahead. Eight
RPM
tracks.
LPs, eight track cassettes came later,
Go
but
ahead.
music was in the house,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
we had a stereo. But the thing that I remember growing up with after I started to reach my teen years was something that you know as well as I do, we don't get from a media standpoint anymore, and we grew up seeing a lot of shows that had live music, have live artists on there. I mean, we can go down the list. Soul Train, Soul Alive on WPIX in New York City with Jerry Bledsoe. We had Midnight Special. We had Don Kirshner's rock concert. All those earlier shows, we had Soul Train, and I'm talking about before the
Midnight
MTV
special.
Midnight Special with Wolfman Jack. We were able to see live music being played as opposed to just videos. And you and we grew up with that.
Hey, Ken, I gotta stop you, man. 'Cause I'm about to get emotional, just like with Lamar. Lamar was blowing my mind with these Bibles. Doug, isn't it amazing to come up? Remember like the Don Kirshner's Rocks concert on like a Saturday? Came on like 11 o'clock at night,
That's right.
and we were able to stay like midnight special. We stayed up and watched, and you no matter if you was in the hood, the country, no matter just to have live musicians play, man. You talk about soulful music, mental meditation in its purest form.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw a number of different types of genres, but the main
Mm,
thing was we got to see
mm.
live music. But for us as a people,
Go ahead.
we got to see our heroes like the Ohio
Go
players. We
ahead.
got to
Go ahead.
see
Mm,
Kool and the Gang. We got to
mm,
see all those types of groups that
mm.
they were cornerstones of funk and R&B and black music at the time, and we got to see them live. There was no YouTube, there was no MTV at that time. This was all live music. You got to see the bands up front, and if the bands had lead vocalists, you got to see that as well. So it was the time that we were coming up, that we were exposed to this. That time is obviously past.
But I'm blessed to be around so many young people like at DU college, at colleges and Bolden, different colleges. And
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, man, there's so many old school spirits out here.
There are.
Variations of color. They want to know some things. These people are at a crossroads. You see, these young people want to know some things because they know that some pages of history has been left out. So when they wear these T-shirts like Bob Marley, where they wear Funkadelic, and when they wear these T-shirts, there's some kind of personal meaning to what they wear, and some don't know what they're wearing, but at least they're wearing it. You know?
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. You mentioned something just now that I had mentioned this to Lamar as well, and some people in passing. But if you talk about old spirits
Mm,
and old souls and young people,
mm.
you probably seen this as well because you're on YouTube. But it's quite interesting to me that when I go to see any videos that are of songs from probably the 80s, the 70s, maybe into the early 90s, I see a lot of these young college age students, a fair amount in the comments of many of these old school songs, and they always seem to say, "I wish that kind of music was
I
around
see that
on
a
the
lot,
radio
Doug. I see
today."
that. Yep,
Yeah,
I see that in the comments. Oh, and
yeah.
can we give love to the slave page? What it says, slave, the civil attack.
Slave, Civil Attack, Aura, and Steve Arrington.
We got to give love. This page is so unique, man. They got my man Caesar on there. They got man. There's so many. I should have written these names because these names are important because this is one of the. As an adult and as a grown person who's not into this YouTube stuff, it's a good feeling to connect. I mean, that's how you and I met.
Exactly,
It's a
exactly.
it's a good feeling to connect with people that share your flashback, man.
No doubt,
You
no
know,
doubt. And
and,
there's
and
there's a
speaking
lot of flashback.
and
Yeah.
speaking of flashback, Mr. Doug, please tell us about because I want to get into slave because this part, see, this is a show that we hit the variety. I want to talk about slave a little bit later because that's deep. But since you're
That's
from
fine.
Jersey, this is very important, and that's why yes, because you have Ohio, which is the land, the origin, the homemade buttermilk funk. I mean, I thought down south was the funk, but no. After that, talking to Lamar. Ohio is the land. Lakeside already said it already. But
Yep.
man, Ohio is homemade from scratch. You got New York, you got Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, California, Arizona. They got some, they got Jersey, but no, but North Carolina. But nobody talk about Jersey. Now that's why you on the mic, Lamar. Lamar, please tell us about the music and the vibe, the clubs. Tell us about life in Jersey when it comes to the music, and then we're gonna get into Kool the Gang, because Kool the Gang went through variations. I want to talk about life before JT, James Taylor. I want to talk about I want to talk about that, but I want to talk about life before, before James came.
Yeah,
Kool
absolutely.
the Gang before and after. So please go ahead, Lamar. Kev.
Absolutely. For me, growing up in Jersey, it was, I remember when I was very, very young, prior to 10 years old, before I really started getting into music. We drive around in dad's car and go places. And, he was listening to AM radio. He was listening to WABC, which was a major syndicated station in New York, but it was a pop station. And for some reason, he enjoyed that station, but it played a mix of music it was more rock and pop oriented. And I really didn't discover a major black station or urban station in New Jersey called WNJR AM, which happened to break, and we'll get to this later, but which would happen to break Slide by Slave.
Mm.
And when I happened to start listening to WNJR and WWRL, which was the other black AM station, because
Yes.
that's where all the black music was at the time when
Yes,
I
it
was that
was.
young.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was there. But so that's where I really got turned on to listening to
WWRL.
a lot of the black music came from the AM side.
Yes, sir.
But later on, after I began to grow a little bit, into my teenage years, then I discovered the FM side of WBLS with the chief rocker Frankie Crocker.
Mm.
And in the middle of the dial on 98, 98.7, that was Kiss FM. And then down on the other side in the mid 70s was WKTU Disco 92. And they were more so fully disco, played a lot of Latin disco. So I grew up with all those particular genres, but the major genre for me in growing up at that time in New Jersey was R&B and funk. And it came to a point where I was old enough to start going out and coming home at a time where I can still catch maybe the end of Midnight Special or whatever was on at the time. But the club scene in New Jersey for me, in Central Jersey, which was East Orange, there was a number of clubs I started going to in my mid-teens, like maybe 16 or so. And there was Club 88 in East Orange, which I frequented a great deal. It was Club Zanzibar, which my sister used to hang out. That was downtown. And there was, where else was there? There was El Castile, which I used to go to, which wasn't too far from Club 88. There was Sultan's 2000 Disco, which was right up the street
Now, hold on,
yeah.
brother. Cause see, you messing with my flashback now. Doug, can you? We're talking with a whole nother nation of young people out here now.
Here we
You
are.
got hip hop, you got another vibe out here. You said something that was very, very deep, kind sir. You said when you were 16 years old. You know what? People don't realize. Kids back in the 70s who were like 13 and up, they were kind of grown back then.
Yeah, you're right. There was a lot of people
Ain't
that
that
I
something
knew.
when you think about
Yeah,
that?
there was a whole different
It
lifestyle.
was, yeah, yeah.
I didn't go to my first live concert until
Mm,
1981. I was already out of high school.
mm.
But I've heard a lot of people and come across a lot of people they were saying they went to slave concerts and they were like 14 years
Yep,
old.
that's right.
You know,
Because I study this because you know what happens is when you think about the lyrics of the music,
oh, that's another story.
the lyrics kind of quickens up your adulthood.
It does. It
Cause see,
does.
hip hop is like nursery rhymes, so it's like a juvenile thing with that. But
Right.
when you listen to Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes or the Manhattans, talking about let's just kiss and say goodbye, and you 12 years old, I mean, come on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
You know,
exactly,
so
exactly.
so you have another. So that's why. And if you look at people back in the '50s when they were doo-wopping, they were looking grown back then. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
so there was some kind of maturity in our grownism in the music.
Oh, no, no question about it. If you listen, if you think about that music that was being played in the clubs and on the radio, in the mid to late 70s or so,
Mm.
for me to be going to and obviously they allowed high school age people in there, but I graduated when I was 17. So
Mm-mm.
16, I was still in high school, but I used to walk to the clubs
Mm.
from my house. Me and my friends used to get dressed. We
Yep.
didn't have licenses at the time, so
Dig it.
we would walk to El Castillo. We would walk to Sultan's
Oh
2001.
man, good
There,
days.
there, there was a club in Orange at the time. I'm
Mm.
trying to remember. I do remember going to see Fonda Ray there
Mm.
over like a fat rat, but I think that was by the time I got to college. But in any event, music played a great deal of and had a great deal of influence. Not only was I watching the live bands, but going to clubs. In my late teen years, early teen years, if you will, that was a lot of fun. And as you happen to mention on your comments on the Slave page a lot, and this could be a whole entirely different situation, but
Mm.
not situation, but discussion. But back then,
Mm.
we didn't suffer the social problems that we did when going out to a club.
Go ahead. No, no, no.
Not at all. It
Not
was
at
a
all.
whole
Not at
different
all.
thing.
Not at all. And
It
that's
was a
what
whole
breaks my
different thing.
heart. What breaks my heart, I'm a club person.
Right.
Right. Right. Right.
Right. Right.
I'm that guy. I like to
There you go.
dance. I'm that guy at the club. So when I saw the change, see you and I, we didn't read about it. We were there. We were there.
Yeah,
This ain't this
exactly.
right. This ain't no history book. No, you and I have the experience of hanging around bullies and even the bullies and thugs were cool.
Yeah,
You didn't have to
no
search.
doubt.
You didn't have to search them at the door. I mean, they kicked
Right.
you. They kicked your ass for a living. They did some dangerous stuff, but they had class when they went out.
Yeah, no question.
They
No
left all the
question.
violence at home. Whatever they did, wherever that. But when they came out, they came to have a good time.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I'm making. When
Mm.
you went out to dance.
Yeah,
If
dance.
you
Go ahead.
hope, if your
Mm.
ultimatum was to hook up with somebody,
Yes.
that's a byproduct. Many times it is.
Did you say ultimatum?
If your ultimatum was
Cause
to,
my ultimatum was always about that, son. I tell you that from the jump. I
there
always
you
had an
go.
ultimatum.
But look, and here's the difference too. Think about your ultimatum and think about how you presented yourself. See, it was a whole different thing
Go
back then.
ahead. Oh, beautiful,
Whole
man.
different
A
thing.
whole different thing.
It was a whole different thing. But we went out, like you said, we went out to have a good time.
That's
The
all.
music, the music was pumping, and
Mm.
it was a really good
And
time.
then after that, Doug, after that, we went to White Castle.
Man, don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started at that. Don't get me started, man. We drive from East Orange to Orange Road and hang out at White Castle,
Right.
man, till 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock in the
You know you were hungry, man.
and they
Nothing
had the
tastes
best.
better than White
They had the
Castle at
best
4
fish.
a.m.
Hey, you get 38 burgers for what? $3.
Oh
And,
man, are you kidding
hey,
me?
hey, Doug, remember them fish fillets, man?
Oh man, the fish fillets, the White Castle doubles, man. Look, dude, after dancing all night, that
Yeah,
was the only thing
right.
that was on your
Yeah,
mind aside from the ultimatum.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh man, you took me all the way back, brother. You took me all the way back,
Yes,
man,
sir.
all the way.
Well, that's my whole intent.
But yeah, that's what it was, man.
Mm.
Those East Orange clubs, and at the time too, when I was, my late teens in high school, not only was I clubbing, but I was with part of a DJ crew at the time as well. So I was also spinning records at house parties and community centers when we got a chance to gig like that. And so wasn't I was like on the floor and then behind the wheels at the same time. So it was a good time back then. It was a really good time, and a social aspect, as we discussed earlier, was pretty much entirely different.
Dig it. Now, okay. Now let me ask you this again. The bands that came out of Jersey. Let's talk about Kool and the Gang, man. Cause Kool and the Gang, before JT came in, people don't understand who's gonna take the weight. Jungle Boogie,
Oh
Hollywood
man, I
Swing.
was just thinking about that song. Exactly.
Yeah, man. Spirit of the Boogie, Love and
Spirit of the
Understanding,
Boogie. Yep.
Universal Sound.
Oh
Come on,
yeah.
come on, man.
Man, that
And
again,
they were straight up Muslim, bow ties, selling bean pies after
oh,
the shows and
oh,
stuff.
no question, no question, no question, no question. Yeah, and it's interesting, man, because coming up in that time frame, I was like 12, 11, 12. I just started getting the music before I even picked up an instrument. And again, those songs had, it was again, a different time frame. The songs had substance. Who's going to take the weight?
That was it for me.
Let's not even talk about the lyrical content of that song.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes.
mean, and this was stuff that was getting heavy airplay on the radio.
Yes, sir. Heavy BLS,
Oh
WWRF.
yeah, yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. All over the place,
All
man. I
over the
mean,
place, dude.
all over the place. And the songs, like I said, the lyrical
And
content.
then and Doug, the garage bands played them at the talent shows.
Oh no, oh man, they were copping everything that was out there. Exactly, man.
They were
Jungle Boogie.
they were playing "I Want to Take You Higher" by Sly Stone.
There you go. Yep.
Skin Tight.
Skin Tight.
Bertha Butt
Yep.
by Jimmy Cassidy. You're going to play that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No question.
You're gonna do Potential, and you're gonna do Skin Tight. Skin Tight's a must. And then you're gonna always do Kool and the Gang. You're gonna always do Kool and the Gang. Every local funk band in Jersey, Carolina, Philadelphia, when Kool and the Gang came with that Jungle Boogie, it was a rap.
It was a rap.
And on the
Yeah.
set, cause that's off the Wild and Peaceful album. Then you had Hollywood Swing on that too, man.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Exactly. And again, that whole thing was born out of the facts. Pick a band, slave, war, whoever you want to talk about. And not to get deep into that, but back then, those things, and you talk about the Minneapolis sound as well. You can pick any section of the country around that time frame. The reason that bands were developed and it was so big coming out of schools is because at the time, music education and music instrumental education was very big. And the other thing that fueled that, at least for my generation, I can't speak before that because of the technology, but we were also influenced by what we saw on Soul Train and Midnight Special and Don Kirshner's rock concert.
That's
we
right.
wanted to be that.
Yeah.
Coupled with the fact that there was music in the schools, there was that birth battles of the bands
And
across country.
and you got to put American Bandstand in there too now.
Oh, thank you. You got to put them in there too. That's
Yeah,
right.
Dick
That's
Clark.
right.
Yeah, you got to put Dick Clark.
Yeah,
in there.
you got to put him in there. He was 12 o'clock. The cartoons went off. American Bandstand was next. So, yeah, you got to give it to him as well. That's true. But
But you know who's underrated, man?
Who's that?
Mike Douglas.
Brother.
Mike Douglas, he would have Sly Stone on in Brass Construction, dude.
Dude,
Mike Douglas.
I remember catching the Jackson 5 on Mike Douglas.
Yeah.
I can't believe you mentioned Mike Douglas, man. I hadn't heard that name in decades.
You're talking to the Bible, dog. I'm trying to tell you, dog.
Oh, man, yo, I'm fully convinced now, bro.
Yeah.
You went back to Mike Douglas.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo.
That's
My
me.
goodness.
Yeah, man. Oh, I was in it. As a kid, I mean, the Three Stooges, Captain Kangaroo, the Flintstones, McGilla Gorilla, Cannon, Mannix.
All of them, man. Yeah, we can talk about that too. The whole TV thing's a whole nother show,
My
brother.
man, and that man McGilla Gorilla, leading a trail to Camp Gitchy Goonie, jolly little rangers away.
But you know what, man? You know what? You getting back to Kool and the Gang.
Yes.
That's a very interesting evolution they had.
Oh man, yeah.
Kool and the Gang was in the 70s.
Yes.
They were coming out of, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, they They formed in the late 60s as the
Yes.
Jazzy Acts
Ye-
out of Jersey
Go ahead.
City, I
Yes, they.
believe.
Mm-hmm.
Patterson, one of the two. But of
Mm-hmm.
course, all the way up to 1980, when I believe they left their current record company, and I think they were signed to, I could be wrong, I think they were signed to
D.
Delight,
Mm,
Delight
mm.
when JT came along, and there was the record company took them
No,
from
but no, they were on Delight already before JT.
what was the 1980 is when
79 or Ladies Night.
79. Yeah,
Same year,
79 was.
same year as Touch of Love came out.
That's right, you're right, you the Bible, that's right, you're
Yeah,
right.
man. Oh, yeah, that cause you know why I know? Cause I was shocked by that sound. Because as you and I remember, Kool the Gang. We remember Kool the Gang on, who's gonna take the away, Jungle Boogie,
Yeah, yeah.
Raw Hamburger, Spirit of the Boogie. But when they did this Ladies Night, it was like whoa, 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 and it wasn't disco. See, I want to tell a lot of other cultures too. Disco was for gay people and white people. It had nothing to do with black people. We just happened to be caught in the mix.
I,
Because
I heard you say that before, and I tend to believe that's true.
yeah,
Exactly.
because when John Travolta put on that white suit and that black shirt, Saturday Night Fever, it was a rap. It was a rap. It was a rap. White folks
Yeah.
found themselves. I mean, just like when some white people see Rocky, they find themselves. And so
Oh man, the visual you gave, I know exactly what you're talking
yeah,
about.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, everybody has to be. Every culture is influenced by something. you
Yeah,
know. But I
absolutely,
know
absolutely.
musically, because I know Kool the Gang, because disco really hurt a lot of black artists. I mean, a lot of black artists like the Tramps,
Oh yeah, oh
the
yeah.
OJ, some survived. James Brown caught hell. James Brown, disco and James had a fight. Believe that.
They did.
Woo!
They
It
absolutely,
wasn't good at all for
absolutely,
JB.
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. But I'm glad you brought that up because you're
Mm.
right. It was 1970, and I don't know if they had changed record companies when that album came out. But as you know,
Mm.
and as I know, and as everybody else knows, they took a whole different. It was a calculated move for whatever reason. I don't know. The record company thought at the time
I think they were still
they
on Delight, bro.
okay, they were still on Delight, so
Mm-hmm.
they actually went through a rebranding. But the first thing I noticed
Mm.
when that album came out
Mm.
is I like to call it the disappearance of George Funky Brown. Because after that, no drum tracks on their songs after that were ever as funky as pre JT.
But you know what though? I gotta say though, JT for me brought it to another level.
Oh, he did. He did.
When he did get down on it and climbing, climbing,
Yeah, yeah.
climbing, yo, and okay, when JT came, the horns were sounding nice. I mean,
They were.
in my opinion, JT took Kool the Gang to another
Oh,
level.
there's no question, and I say that positively as well. I definitely
Cause when
do, and
JT came in the band, they all got Jerry curls, bruh.
yeah, man, that was soul cool. That was soul glow time
Yeah,
for
that was
them.
right.
No question, no
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
But I give them props. I don't know the stats, but
Mm.
if you just think of one song and that celebration
Oh, that's it.
from JT on,
Mm.
that era of Kool and the Gang
Mm.
compared to pre JT,
Mm.
that era may have been their most successful era ever,
Yes, sir.
commercially,
Yes, sir.
commercially,
Commercially.
commercially. And I don't take anything away. They had some songs that really skyrocketed, but
But
you
you
and
know
I
what?
know
But
that.
JT is dangerous though, man. You figure with Too Hot,
Yeah,
Joanna,
Joanne.
I
Yeah.
mean, JT is really underrated.
Oh, there's no question about it.
But
There's no question
the
about it.
mistake he made though is, see, everybody can't be Jeffrey Osborne in LTD. Everybody can't be Lionel Richie in the Commodores. Everybody can't go solo. Everybody can't be
Right,
Teddy. Everybody can't be
right,
Teddy.
right.
Okay, so JT, I'm sorry, he's good with the band. By himself, uh.
Well, I would tend to believe that because, with no disrespect, I can't recall
Mm.
anything that I know that JT's done solo.
Bless
I
his.
always associate him with Kool and the Gang,
And
which is not a diss, it's just facts.
it's just,
You
but
know.
it's something about it. It fits him well.
Yeah.
It's a. Sometimes you want to see a guy. Sometimes you want to see the dude, but sometimes you want to see the dude with the guys.
Yeah,
You don't want to see him by himself. You know, you want to see him with the guys. It's something about Kool the Gang and JT.
yeah. There's no question. There's no question. There's definitely no question about it. But you know what? I was trying to think. I'm trying to think of another black band that took that took the evolution that they did, and I can't off the top of my head.
Or the evolution. Oh man, there's a couple
Can you?
of them. There's a
Yeah.
couple of them
Okay.
that did the evolution. Who did a? Hmm.
That because that was a hard left they took.
No, that was a hard
When
left. I
JT
mean, when
came on,
JT came on, yeah, that was a hard left, and
that was a hard
yeah,
left.
man, cause they went levels. You know
Yeah.
who went levels? The Barkays.
Yes,
When
you're
they
right.
when they
Good
did when
point.
they did Shake Your Rump to the Funk, it was like whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, what
yeah,
y'all
yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah,
Cause
yeah,
before
yeah, yeah.
before they had Son of Shaft, you know, I'm not going to mention Soulfinger because that's different. But when they came with Shake Your Rump, they went to another level after that.
But you know what, man? I was really too young to know. But the Barkays, they've been around for a good minute.
But they were no, they were down with but the original members died in the plane crash with the Otis Redding, the original
Oh,
members.
yes, exactly.
You
Yeah, that's
know,
right.
and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and James Alexander, the bass player, man, he just didn't take that flight, you know. And Larry
Okay.
Dodson came in later on, and
Oh,
Larry Dodson is one of the greatest underrated funk rock soul singers ever.
wow. Okay,
Ever.
okay,
Larry
okay.
Dodson is underrated. There's nobody like him. Let me tell you about the Barcades and their live shows are, man. Let me tell you, when I saw the Barcades, man, that's what it's amazing to come up with black musicians